Hey guys, it's Alexander Dahl with Manifest Vitality again. So we'll keep this short and sweet. We got another interview to get into, so we'll go ahead and just dive straight into that one. All right, here you go. All right, so I have Steve on the phone here. He's another musician that reached out about the interview series. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I guess musically where I'm at right now is I am a guitar player for Chain Letter Curse, and I do a lot of writing for the band. Got into music, I don't know, many years ago, but went through some periods where that wasn't a priority, and I guess we'll find out more as we get some questions about
Yeah,
that.
definitely. So, I always like to start at the beginning. So, basically, go into some detail about how you first found music, how you first stepped into the musical realm and learned that it was what you wanted to do with your life.
Well, way back, I remember my dad was a really big music fan, and I can remember listening to eight tracks in his pickup truck, and one of them that always stuck out to me was Jimi Hendrix. He had that, and that's just a memory that always sticks with me. He had an old big box stereo that was probably late '60s, early '70s, and lots of records that he played. And he was kind of the guy that really got me into music that way, at least have an interest in it. Uh, then going into, I'm a child of the '80s, growing up in the '80s, and I got into a lot of hard rock stuff and started going to concerts. And prior to that, I played guitar a little bit, but it never really stuck with me at that time. So as things evolved, I put the guitar aside, but I was always a big music fan. Always went to concerts and always supported local musicians when possible, and then came back to it much later in life.
Awesome. So, going through school, you didn't really participate much in like the traditional like choir or concert band or jazz band sort of thing.
Well, I did play in the band a little bit in middle school, I think it was. I played saxophone, and that had some lasting effect on me. Uh, and then later on, I picked up the guitar, and I did take some lessons, and I met some really cool people through that. But there was some other events in life, and I got sidetracked and got away from it. At times, I wish I never did get away from music, but you can't change the past. You can only change the future. So I am glad where I'm at now musically.
Sure. So, once you're out of school, what did it take to actually get you to reconnect with music and then picking up the guitar and learning it?
So that's kind of an important piece to me because I was experiencing a period of really high stress in my life. And I thought I needed an outlet to kind of get out of my head and, do some things for myself. And I bought a used guitar online, and I started playing around with it, and I was just terrible. I was just terrible at it.
Mhm.
Um, and there were some things that I did remember from being a kid, and I started messing around with that, and started messing around with some cover tunes. And one of the guys I was working with at the time was a music teacher, and I invited him over to the house, and we started playing some music together, and things evolved from there. But really for me, one of the big important parts was that playing guitar became kind of like a meditation where I couldn't think about anything else except playing the guitar when I was doing it.
Mhm.
And it was one of the, very few times in my life that I could just kind of live in the moment and get out of my head and get away from, a lot of things that bothered me.
Sure. So you kind of used expression through the guitar as more of like a therapeutic outlet than you did initially as a creative one.
Yeah, and I mean I quickly found that there was that creative piece because I do love to do original music and I love to write, and a lot of it seems, that's one part that seems to come fairly easy to me is the writing piece,
Hmm.
uh, especially musically, somewhat lyrically too.
Hmm.
But, no matter who I'm working with, I'm always, many songs ahead.
Hmm.
Uh, and that I've been really thankful for that, it's that part has come easy to me. Learning how to play at, a skill level where I feel very comfortable playing in front of people and working with musicians, and many of them, are I have found have a higher skill level than I do.
Hmm.
To get there took a lot of work, but I'm happy that I was able to put the work in, and I keep doing it every day.
Sure, definitely. So let's actually get into that a little. So, you kind of went through the process of picking up the guitar initially therapeutically, and then developing the creative process of it, and then you went out to start looking for other band members to play with. Did you originally look for band members to work on like your own original work, or did you kind of look for a band to become a part of?
Uh, I think it would be more the first,
Hmm.
because I found Mike, who was the music teacher, and Mike is a multi instrumentalist, and he came over and he was playing guitar, and then once we started getting some songs together, uh, we really wanted to put a band together,
Hmm.
so we found a drummer, and the drummer by the name of Daryl is a local guy, and we're still great friends. And Daryl had been a professional musician for over 30 years, and he had moved on since then, into some other things, but he was fantastic to work with. I always tell everybody, I learned how to play guitar from a drummer because Daryl taught me so much about timing.
Hmm.
And that made a big difference in what I did, because a lot of my original writing, I wrote things in very weird time signatures.
Okay.
Having kind of, I think it's kind of fortunate in a way, having kind of a fortunate lack of uh, real training. I kind of wrote the way I felt, and uh, what those two guys did with me is they found, well, this isn't a time, and we can make it work, and let's do something interesting with it.
Hmm.
And what was really cool there is they were willing to experiment, and some really fun songs came out of that. Once we had the three of us and we were really enjoying playing some of these originals, uh, then we had to find a singer, because I can't sing. I cannot sing at all. Um, I do sing to the radio and things, but nobody wants to hear it. And and so we found a singer, by the name of James, and James did some work with us for quite a while. We did like a 7 song, I think it was maybe 7 song album,
Hmm.
shorter album. And we had the band named, and I was interested in starting to get out on stage at that point.
Hmm.
And Daryl was not interested in getting out on stage, because he had done that for many years. And, he said, well, I don't want to play for money. I don't want to make it about business. I just want to, you guys want to jam or whatever, that's fine. So, we started to have some member changes.
Hmm.
We did eventually get another drummer, and we got out on stage, and then eventually we switched singers. And so, like many bands, we went through a few members with that band. Uh, and that band, it had a couple different configurations with the different members, but that was called Broken Commandments.
Okay.
And that's when I started to get some stage experience.
Sure.
And we were playing our originals, and we were getting on stage, and we recorded that short album, and it was a really good time. Some fantastic people to play music with.
Awesome. So, what brought you from that project into your current project? Did you just kind of decide that you needed to kind of branch out and try something new? Did the membership just kind of say, well, this is kind of petered out? What was that process like?
Well, for me, what I found, and this was another bit of wisdom that Daryl passed on to me. He said, "Yeah, if you get 3 to 5 people to show up on a regular basis, then you're 90% of the battle in having a successful band
Yeah.
at some level." And people came and went for various reasons, um, work reasons, relocations, things like that, mostly. And one of the real positive things that came out of it is I have lasting relationships and friendships with almost everybody that I played music with in the past.
Hmm.
Um, you know, eh, Maybe I'm at a different stage in life than a lot of people, but for most of us, it was there wasn't any band drama. It was like we're friends and we play music together and we enjoy that.
Hmm.
And when we weren't able to play music together anymore, we were still friends. And we still get together. Former band members come out to the current shows and support us. So um, my my deal is I was just never the guy who was going to give up. I
Hmm.
just I just I just like it so much that I've recruited a couple new players, and just recently we added a keyboard player. Her first gig with us was yesterday. So and what I tell everybody when we do put a band together is, for me, what's important is being a band. And being a band is, yeah, we are friends. We do want to create things together. It's more of a democratic process. Everybody brings something different to the table. People have different strengths, and we try to build off of that.
That's awesome. So, what was your kind of ambition to get your current lineup together? Did you have like a preconceived idea of what members you wanted in, or was it kind of just come as they come kind of deal?
Well, I think one of it started off, this current lineup started off with mainly Daniel and I. And Daniel is our singer now, and he plays bass. And, he came on as a bass player. We had a different singer for a little while, and then she dropped out. And I knew Daniel could sing. I had heard recordings he had done before. And I said, "Hey, if you're comfortable with this, why don't you just do this and we'll just quit looking for a singer?"
Hmm.
And he's really stepped up, and the guy is ridiculously talented. I mean, he can play guitar, bass, keys, drums, and he can sing. So having him in the group, and having him and I as the bases of the group, has just been very rewarding for me. And then we got Christian on about a year ago. He's our drummer, and it's the three of us did a lot of shows together, just the three of us as a three piece. And I think what that did is, really tighten us up and bring us together musically, in a way that, even if something bad were to happen, while we're in a performance, a drumstick gets broken or something like that, it's like we know how to adapt to each other. It's we just been playing so much music together that uh, you can really feel when something needs to be covered. And
Sure.
people jump in and do that. So that was the last year,
Hmm.
and the three of us are the main contributors to the current album. And then recently we brought on Heather, who plays keyboards, and she happens to be a music teacher too, and multi instrumentalist and can sing. So that's really opening up things for us musically. I think we're gonna have a real cool experience with this next album, because we've added the keyboard player.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a really cool lineup.
Yeah, and my vision was, I got to have a bass player, I got to have a drummer, and I got to have somebody who can sing.
Hmm.
And when I had Mike in the old band in Broken Commandments, we were two guitars, and when I lost Mike as a, you know, as a band member, we're still great friends, but
Hmm.
as a band member, I really didn't have a lot of interest in playing with another guitar player, um, because he and I just had such a vibe together that I thought it would be hard to reproduce that.
Sure.
And at the time, I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to push myself to do some of the things that Mike could do that I never really pushed myself to.
Hmm.
That I was, I was afraid to try to pull this off on stage. And what that did for me is it like pushed me to have some skills that I did not have before.
I mean, that's the way to do it. That's inspiration in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, why don't you share with me a couple stories that have happened to you surrounding music, whether it be something that's like really inspirational or made like a huge impact on your ambitions?
Well, I mean, I think the probably the biggest thing, which I kind of alluded to before, is just the kind of lasting friendships that develop out of music. It's like, um, you know, we leave a gig like we leave a gig last night, and people send each other messages and let everybody know they made it home all right.
Hmm.
We can play pool together or cards together or just hang out, or it's having a social circle that's beyond the music. I think that's really important.
Hmm.
Having people around that you can trust. I mean, I relocated to this area. I don't have any family here,
Hmm.
so in a way, a lot of this has been a substitute family for me.
Sure.
Um, and certainly those aren't specific stories, but that's really important to me. I mean, I mentioned Daryl a couple times.
Hmm.
It's like, the last time I was at somebody's house socially was Daryl's house, and we haven't played music together in years now. But to get together and have a cookout and have our kids hang out together and things like that, it's
Hmm.
like that's where I've kind of centered my social life too, is around this music, because it's a healthy thing to center my social life around. It's not like you center your social life around drinking or some other thing that
Hmm.
might be detrimental. And all of these people that have become band members are great people. I love
Hmm.
to have them around my family, and they're just generally good people.
Yeah, for sure. You spend enough time playing music with people, and they become family.
Yeah, and I've tried some people out that I was never going to have at my house again, but
Though there are
but
those people too. Yes.
yeah, but that was tryout purposes, and
Hmm.
the guys who have stuck around that I want to have stick around, yeah, like I said, they're just good people, and anybody would be proud to have them around or as friends.
Very cool. Well, why don't you share some links where people can check out what you're doing and listen to your music?
Sure. I think probably the best place to go to is chainlettercurse.com. Uh, and it's our new website. We just got it up, I think, yeah, last month. We just got our website up, chainlettercurse.com. We're also on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook and search Chain Letter Curse, and we're on every social media site to find our music. I think we've got YouTube and virtually every social media site we're on now. But the two I'd really like people to check out is our website and possibly our Facebook page. Go on there and give us a like. And on our website, we have our album, and you can get it digitally, or you can get the physical CD. We just completed our CD in December, and we're really proud of how it turned out musically, and if you get the physical CD, just the whole package is really cool and fun.
Awesome. So the other thing I like to do is give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to do like the last word. So a message that you feel resonates with you that you want to connect, and hopefully it connects with people.
Sure. I mean, I think we've got some trying times right now for musicians, trying times for small businesses. Uh, I would love to see people get out and support, the small venues that uh, allow bands to get on stage and allow people to get started. I think that's really important. Um, bands don't really make any money, but if you're supporting the small business that a guy is supporting his family with, I think that's really important. And then I'd just like to say to and it doesn't matter what age you are, because I came back to it later in life, is get into music and do something that you always wanted to do. If it's a bucket list item for you, go out and do it. And even if you're like me and you start off and you just sound terrible and you just annoy your family, uh, if you really love it, eventually you'll get to a point where you're proud of yourself and you can really have fun.